Hello, and welcome back to Sights and Sounds on the Student Spin podcast. I'm your host, Amber Lindemann.
And I'm Braydon, Hilton.
And we hope you have had a wonderful summer. Today on Sights and Sounds, we will be reviewing the movie called The Pickup. The Pickup was filmed here in our hometown of Rome, Georgia, and we'll just be giving you a basic overview of what we thought, pros, cons, and also we did have some Georgia Highlands students work on this film, so it's a really exciting thing that we get to be reviewing.
And represent for Georgia Highlands. Whoop, whoop.
Go Chargers. The Pickup also had Pete Davidson, Eddie Murphy, and Keke Palmer in it, as well as...
It also had like a surprise cameo from Marshawn Lynch and Roman Reigns. They're also in the movie kind of as these side characters.
It was really cool seeing all these like big name people in this comedy / heist. That was a very interesting thing. Why don't you tell me what you thought about it?
So, I mean, originally the movie, I thought it was just going to be like this project that Eddie Murphy and Pete Davidson are going back at it. You know, they're just going to have fun. Well, originally that's what I thought. But looking at it and watching it like literally today, it's kind of a movie that I would watch in the background. It's nothing, you know, I'm going to force myself to watch. But if I'm hanging out with friends and they suggest it, I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll watch it. They had like a lot of good things like that were going for them. The intro, the music, I love me some Silk Sonic, kind of like setting the vibe, setting the tone.
Yeah.
Did you have anything with the intro?
I did like the intro. The intro was probably my favorite part, not gonna lie.
Start off strong, just go from there.
I enjoyed the movie, don't get me wrong, but it's not something I'm gonna want to watch by choice again.
Yeah.
Maybe if I'm like with a group of friends and we just want like to have a little laugh or like have a conversation during the movie about the movie, like that would be the movie I would pick.
Yeah. So, also I like the chemistry. Like, you know, you see kind of like this buddy system with Pete Davidson's character being Travis and then Eddie Murphy's character being Russell. And it's just Russell, like I feel like Eddie Murphy in this movie did a very good job of like the by the book character. Like everything was by the book. He didn't want to go off the rails. He was this set in character, and Pete Davidson was kind of this drag me along, you know, like change my morals throughout the movie character, because Pete Davidson's the guy's guy, you know.
Right.
He is this guy's like he's this 20-year-old guy, like multiple jobs, drinking Monster Energy drinks, having who knows what in the cooler, you know, for his lunch and food, and coming into work talking about like how great and successful his weekend was, you know.
Right.
And so it's just like seeing these two, I felt like it flowed. Like their comedy kind of like picked it up like within the movie, but then it like kind of was and some.
I know. Now that you say that, I was thinking that the truck scene in the very beginning of the movie where before they left the facility.
Yeah.
I thought it was not appropriate.
For
like,
sure.
Not appropriate as in like it was inappropriate humor wise. Like it was very funny. But I feel like why you think that it kind of the comedy and stuff just like fizzled out towards the end is because they had to progress the plot line.
Yes. And I feel like it helped because they had multiple characters going into this like thing. Because it was a different take on a heist. And I kind of like that. It's like a fresh start type of thing of this new perspective. Because, you know, as a truck driver, as this bank truck driver, you really can't tell, like, you know, they go into all these different places. Granted, there are a lot of trucks. But there's some time where they're not in, you know, a city or anything like that, where they're just driving. So it kind of took in this new concept that I thought was refreshing. But it also brought in Eddie Murphy's character with his his wife and how him doing this job affects him, and how you know being in this truck driver affects him, and being in this heist. Like you see it kind of like the comedy kind of fizzle out. It has its moments even at the end, but it fizzles out because it, like you said, it needs to proceed with the plot.
Right.
So, now. I thought it was very interesting. You get an introduction to Marshawn Lynch, and, you know, he's coming in as this intimidating character. And then he's just like, oh, I don't see you. Like, you're not here. You're not here. And so it's like, he's coming in this intimidating character, but he has this comedic like style that I thought was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised I didn't see him with Skittles, like anywhere, because he's usually the guy that's eating on Skittles. So it's like very fun to see these new people that we see in these core, being an athlete or being a wrestler, being like these comedians, but then now they have this platform where they also entertain other people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see. So those were most of our pros.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. The cons. Where do we want to start with the skyscraper?
We can. I'll let you start.
Okay. So this movie has a lot of shots of downtown Rome, especially on Broad Street, and I have to admit I do work on Broad Street. I've worked on Broad Street at a specific place for almost 2 years now.
Whoop, whoop.
So when they were having that argument on the 400 block in Tribune Street, like on the back side of it by the Forum,
yeah,
I knew exactly where they were.
Oh, for sure.
And there was a skyscraper in the background who it didn't look
natural.
It didn't look
we
natural. Because if you've been on Broad Street in downtown Rome, you know that most of those places are brick buildings from like 100 years ago.
For sure.
And they flood so easily. But it's just like, then you have this blue, I'm pretty sure it was blue
Yeah.
and gray skyscraper in the background that was CGI'd horribly in there.
We're not trashing on Rome at all, because there's an earlier shot where it's going down on Murchie.
Yes.
And you are able to see the Waffle House when they're talking about the Waffle House and
The
all
McDonald's.
this. So you see, like, we're not trying to represent Rome terribly. It's just we see this building that we've never seen before, and it looks like a building from Meet the Robinsons. It takes me out of the movie. I'm like, what is this shot? Because originally it was mentioned there's a CGI building down in Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see that Armucci, I watched it a couple times. I'm like, I don't see a building that takes me out of this scene.
Yeah.
I fast forward in the movie where we're looking downtown at Broad Street and you just see this building to the left. And it's just like, I thought we were in like Amazon Prime, not Disney, And so I understand the vision. You're trying to make the city different and like set apart, but man, that was wild.
It was. It also could have been like they were trying to show that Pete Davidson and Eddie Murphy were in like a rougher part of the city, which is great representation for Rome.
Oh, for sure. It's wild because Rome is that type of city. It's just like
we kind of
I get frustrated because sanctioning like through different places is just different. But I mean, that shot just kind of like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Wrapping up about the skyscraper.
Yeah.
I do not remember at all what they were talking about in that scene, just because I was so distracted by the skyscraper. I knew they were arguing, and I knew the wife was there to get Eddie Murphy or Russell.
Yeah.
And being like, what are you doing? But all I could focus on was the fact that there was a skyscraper there, and I was that's not a part of Rome. Why is it there?
And I do remember, like, the next vivid thing that I do remember is literally how, I think it's later. I think it's like 3 scenes later of how this character conned both Pete Davidson's character and now Eddie Murphy's character. Conned both.
Yes.
And so that was like 3 scenes later. And so it just took me out of 2 scenes of being like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So
you're like, did I miss something?
Yeah. But along kind of with that of like the setup, it was when they go into this bank vault, it looks like a football stadium.
It does, doesn't it?
Like, yeah. And so it's just like they're walking down the halls, like not going to a bank, but it looks like they're going to their seats at a football game.
Right.
And so I thought that was a bit different, a bit interesting. They had people, of course, dressed up and looked the part. And I liked how they shot a couple scenes, but it was just an interesting setup. And but I think it was portrayed the way it should have been. Just could have changed a little bit better.
Another con I had, and I guess we're being so nitpicky just because we know what it's
Yeah.
supposed to look like when it's not on film.
For sure.
The Armature connector was shown at one part,
Yeah.
and then I know that they were filming on 411 because they had shut it down for
Yeah.
a little bit. But it also looked like they were on a different road. So it was like they would take the footage from one road they shot
Yeah.
on, move to like their Armature connector, and then be on a completely different road that wasn't in the area.
You made me remember a certain scene, and it was like in the beginning where Pete Davidson's driving the truck.
Yeah.
They don't think anything's suspicious, and there's only 3 cars on that road.
I know that road's a lot busier
Like,
than people think it is.
Yeah, and so we're not trashing this film. I like it. It's nice. I love, Eddie Murphy and Pete Davidson. It's weird for me to see what I grew up with and it being changed for
Yeah.
film. Not saying it can't be like a great film. It's just, from my perspective, it's different,
Right.
so.
Yeah. Those are all of my cons. Do you have any more cons? Pros?
Not really. I mean, I did think it was very funny. Like they kept on poking fun of Eddie Murphy's like age, and just Pete Davidson just had this plot armor on the entire movie. He's getting shot at. He's not fighting. He's just like he just survives all these different things. And Pete Davidson, like, I realize the aura that this man has, but Eddie Murphy is like, I don't know how old Eddie Murphy is. He looks good.
He does. I think
'Cause-
he might be in his 50s or 60s.
Yeah,
now.
and he's like still doing these, action sequences. Like even
Yeah.
like I was surprised, but I just thought that was funny. I thought it was like a very funny break because even they start talking about it like he has to warm up, like he's in shock, and he had to warm up, and so now he's just like this chaotic person. But that's kind of all I had.
Yeah. This movie is rated R. If you would want to watch it, I don't know if that would affect anyone, but
Mhm.
just throwing it out there because that ties into what I was going to say is that there is quite a few cuss words in it.
100%.
And if I'm being 100% honest, every time that Eddie Murphy cussed, all I could hear was Donkey from Shrek. So that kind of took me out of the movie, but it's no one's fault than my
Yeah.
brain.
I mean, it's a character that we grew up with.
It
and
is.
love,
That's
and,
what it is.
Shrek rated R is kind of a movie I would love to see because of what they do with it already. But, and I was just surprised within that. It's like, it's rated R. It has so much cursing. It doesn't have a lot of violence. It has a
It
lot
doesn't.
of explosions. It has a lot of explosions, but it doesn't have a lot of people actually getting shot and you see blood or anything like
Right.
that pulls into rated R.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I thought that was very interesting.
I'm pretty sure if you drop more than 2 F-bombs in a movie, you have to rate it higher
Yeah.
than PG-13.
And it felt like if they did take out 2 F-bombs or, all but 2 F-bombs, I felt like it would be rated PG-13.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be like, because everything else is like, it fits PG-13.
Right.
But other than the cursing, it's just like, I think it drags it out of being rated what it's rated.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there was a couple, Eddie Murphy was talking about a joke, and I was like, immediately, oh, this is prime Eddie Murphy. This
Mhm.
is when he was back in the 80s, and he was Beverly Hills Cop. He was, Donkey, like, he was doing his stand-up. I'm like, this reminds me of prime Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Just something felt natural with this.
Yes. So, wrapping up, we mentioned that we had quite a few Georgia Highlands students go onto this production as various different PAs, shadow crew.
It kind of ranged like different, like jobs.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't think we have time enough to list all the jobs.
Yeah.
So I just kind of have this list of all the people that did represent Georgia Highlands on this film. You have
Yes.
Katie Sullivan, Gustavo Castillo, Paris Bell, Colin Talent, Jonah Bowermaster, Aaron McKinley, Bailey Anderson, Abby Shockley, Anna Purcell, Joseph McDaniel, Damon Self, Justin Ford, Will Andrews, and of course Emily Harris. So those were kind of all the people that represented Georgia Highlands, and we kind of got a little bit insider trade through that film.
Mhm.
But really proud of these guys of like kind of representing Georgia Highlands, being able to get that call and being able to work on this project, because
Yes.
I think having this project under your belt at all is something to be proud of. So.
Right. We just wanted to give a little shout out for those reasons exactly. This is all we have for today. Again, I'm your host, Amber Lindemann,
And I am Braydon Hilton.
and we thank you for joining us on Sights and Sounds with the Student Spin podcast, and we will see you next time.
Peace.